D&D Pod presents Dawg House.
Yes! 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 Oh! 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 Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Dawg House.
The song that just ripped through your brain was Demon's Blood by Infrared. And in the Dawg House tonight is Infrared. So, Armin, thank you for joining the doc. And how the hell are you, bud?
Not bad. Not bad. Thanks for having me. And how are you doing?
Doc is doing good. Doc is doing really good. Thank you for asking. I wanted to ask you, you guys were at the heart of thrash metal scene in the 80s. So, kind of take us back and share what it felt like being a part of a movement that was just exploding with acts like, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, etc.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was sort of the heyday, I guess, of this new movement. So we're from Ottawa, and we had bands of like, Exciter, and then obviously quite a bit later, Annihilator coming out of the Ottawa area, and then they eventually moved to Vancouver and all over the place. But, our influences when we were kind of first starting out, like our influences were heavily rooted in like, the 70s metal bands, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, like those kind of bands. And then of course, that old wave of thrash came ripping through. Like, so after Exciter, you saw, you had your Exciters and your Venom, and then you've got Metallica and Slayer sort of breaking new ground. And when we heard that, we were just like this is super cool. And so that's why we gravitated right away to the more aggressive style of music.
If you don't have my money for me, I'll crack your fucking head wide open in front of everybody in the bank. And just about the time that I'm coming out of jail, hopefully, you'll be coming out of your coma. And guess what? I'll split your fucking head open again. Because I'm fucking stupid. I don't give a fuck about jail. That's my business. That's what I do.
Back in 85 is sort of when Kirk and I started. So we started writing right away. As soon as we learned guitar, we just started writing. Kirk came up with the first No Peace riff. That was the first song we ever wrote, and the rest is history, sort of, so to speak.
So you guys have known each other for a long time.
Yeah, yep, I would say so.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Hey, buddy, your balls are ringing. Answer it.
So your journey has been nothing but short of a roller coaster with what? You had a long hiatus, didn't you? And then you had a really powerful comeback. So
yeah.
How did reuniting in 2014 and working on albums like No Peace and Saviors reshape your musical direction?
Yeah, I don't know how many bands have had such a long hiatus. Again, putting things into perspective, 85 to about 90. So you got 5 years sort of Infrared, and there was some lineup changes towards the end of that. But really the core of the music writing, who we are as a band, was always Kirk, myself, Al, and at the time it was Sean Thompson, the bass player, who now lives in Miami. So 27 years of hiatus. And it was another band that used to sort of be our mentor band back in the 80s that, they kind of encouraged us and had us play shows with them and stuff like that. So they reunited back in 2014 around that time frame. And they said, wouldn't it be great if you guys did? And so we did. But we didn't have Sean because he was, again, out of country. So then we got Mike Forbes. And yeah, so as soon as we did that show, we kind of felt like a bit of the old magic was still there. We didn't really miss a beat, a little bit rusty, but that rust came off pretty quick. And then once we realized that we were really enjoying this, we decided to basically record what should have been recorded back in the 80s. So we only ever had a demo tape back then. And then No Peace occurred, and then Saviors after that. So No Peace is all the old songs, and then Saviors was all new songs, but we were kind of finding our new voice. So I kind of see that album as a transitional album into where we are now, which is we got our voice, we know who the hell we are, and just really like the aggression that we're putting into the songs these days.
Hey man, you're on the floor.
No shit.
Don't you think that you have that transitioning period from when you start, releasing tracks to quarter point, midpoint, to where you see the transition of how the band has actually evolved in a better and more musical direction? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I mean, there are those bands that their debut albums are their quintessential album, right? But in our genre of music, I would say that they all have good starting albums, but they sort of, I don't want to say peak, but they hit full maturity around the third or fourth album.
Yes.
It's because they're fine. So the first one is they've had a lifetime to write it. The second one is, we're kind of finding our legs. The third one is mature, and the fourth is mature, and then they can either get bored of what they're doing and try to veer off and experiment. And sometimes it really works really, really well, and sometimes it loses their fan base, but they're happy, and that's good too. There's all kinds of ways, but yeah, I tend to see that sort of style where the first album is, they just decline right after that, and other ones really just grow after that.
And I agree, and that's why I kind of asked you that, because I do see that, and I can even think in my head, which I won't get into it, some major mainliners that their first albums were killer, but as the albums went forward, it just became, phenomenal, and so I think that happens in all bands.
Now, I may be an idiot, but there is one thing I am not, sir, and that, sir, is an idiot.
Doc's going to spin one for you guys called Manifest Nation. Great track. That's a great track.
You are in the Dawg House.
Your journey includes, this is pretty impressive, includes opening for legendary acts like Anvil, Sacrifice, Venom, among others. So share with us some of the standout moments from these concerts, and did they influence your music or performances in any way?
Yeah, for sure. Like I would say, we opened for Anvil. That was one of the earlier ones for us. And, we'd gone to see them live pretty much every single time they would come through town. And they're an amazing live band. Like, good crowd participation. Lips is always getting down into the crowd for March of the Crabs and gets the crowd pumped and going. And then it's just, chaos and fun from that point on.
I'm the only one who's got the vision. Lips will take us there. I'm gonna take you there, man. I'm gonna fucking do it! And that's why I'm here. I took the fucking risk, yeah. At what cost? 25, 30 years, man, of having somebody dedicated to me. He believes in me. We're gonna do it together. We're gonna get there. We're gonna fucking do it. Since we're fucking 14 years old, and here we sit in our fucking 50s, man. We're gonna be rock stars. It's a fucking dream. But I'm gonna make it come true.
It's a lesson in perseverance. It's a lesson in passion. I feel like tonight, for the second time in my life, I'm in the right place at the right time because I get to introduce a great rock and roll band.
So we kind of learned like crowd participation, engagement. That's huge. We played with Exciter again. The crowd chants along with them. Razor is just pure aggression. They're just like pummeling you over and over again. And you can see the crowd just such a visceral reaction. So, like depending on who we play with and where we're playing, try to get a sense of the crowd. You line up your set list. We always try to give like the best sort of set that we can for the time frame that we have to play live. And we always want it to be a bit of a roller coaster ride. It's another thing you learn too is, do you really want to pummel people like for 40 minutes straight, or do you want a bit of a roller coaster? So you want like pummeling, mid pace, maybe slow it down a bit, then pummel again, So to me, that's a fun night.
I couldn't have said it any better than what you just did as far as the flow of the music goes. You're 100% right. You put on a phenomenal performance. What do you contribute that to?
Loving the music. It's so like you kind of, when you go up, so you put all your heart and soul into writing this stuff, right? Like, I mean, I get, we're in our 50s. We do okay financially, like in our day lives, our day jobs. So we're not doing this for any other reason other than pure love of the music. And it's also a good way to release any aggressions that you have. It's good therapy from a lyrical standpoint, from riffage, from creativity, getting it all out. And then when you go and play live, you just kind of get to go lose yourself for that time period. And you get to, you interview a lot of people and I don't know how they describe it, but when you're sharing that moment with the crowd and they're singing lyrics back to you, and you're asking them, for some engagement or like to sing certain parts of the song and yell them out, and they're doing it, and there's smiles and head banging and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's magical, right? And so you get to lose yourself for that time period, and it's a super high. And I can't think of any other reason of why we're doing it other than that.
The doc's going to spin another one from you guys from Infrared, which is concuss. Did I say that right?
Concuss.
Fuck. Concuss.
It's from concussion, so it's concusso.
Well, let's do that. Let me do that one again. So Magpie, fuck you. You can just edit that part out. Here we go. Spinning another track from Infrared is Concuss. awesome one. Your latest album, Manifestations, right?
Manifestation, yeah.
Yeah, seems to have really captured a perfect blend of classic thrash with a modern twist. And I guess despite facing numerous challenges and delays, tell us some of the key moments and turning points in that album's creation.
I have gone over this with in other interviews and stuff like that, but I do think it's an interesting and worthy topic, which is when we started this album, we did have a couple of riffs. Like there was, like Kirk and I, we always trade riffs and, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? But no songs written, nothing really formalized. And I said, like, if we're going to do this album, if we're going to do another album, let's do it differently. Let's start with the artwork and we'll manifest songs, the entire album from that visual. And that's exactly what we did. So I was on Facebook one day and I saw one of the local artists from town. He does all kinds of stuff as well, like producing bands and doing videos. And he did this artwork, but it was AI artwork, which I kind of thought was fascinating because it was like really cool. It was really crisp. There was 4 pieces. I gravitated to one right away, asked him if he was selling them. He said, yep. And so we bought the one that I liked. The band loved it. I showed them all 4. Everybody liked that one. So we're a democracy, right? So it's not,
right.
There isn't one person in the band that runs the show. So we all come with our ideas and then we all vote and it's like, yeah. So we got that. And then we talked about the process and everybody was on board. Like that's a great idea. Let's do it different. And we also put a huge focus on trimming fat, right? So when I talked about Saviors, that was sort of a transitioning from the old to the new. We had incredibly long songs. Nothing wrong with it. Like they're all journeys, but there was way less songs. I think there's 8 songs on that album, and giving you like over an hour, or I think about an hour, close to that of music in 8 songs. So you can do the math.
Right.
And now we've got like 12 songs. Two are kind of instrumentals, and that runs in at about 41 minutes. So the goal there was take people on the same journey, like give the same excitement of the song and the changes, but succinct, trim the fat, more pop-like, but they're not pop songs clearly because we're not being played on those stations, nor will we ever be, and that's perfectly fine with us.
And I'll never get back to sleep. I'm as jumpy as a virgin at a prison rodeo.
World of Metal has highlighted Manifestations as potentially one of your best moments, especially with its dynamic and intense thrash metal sounds. What were some of the life challenges that the band faced during the album process?
Well, I went through a divorce, I guess. It was before that, though. Like that was sort of happening back from the Black Swamp days. But there's carryover from that. Like there's family dynamics that are challenging and stuff. And there's other things that they're not my stories to tell, but there's just other things that people deal with, and those things just make their way into the music, right? And nothing is ever like you can't listen to one of her songs and go look at something and go, oh, I understand exactly what happened. These are broader topics, or it's painted with a broader paintbrush so that people can give their own interpretations to the song, but they'll probably find some connection in what's being said.
A personal, individual interpretation of the song.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is great about music, because you can think in your own mind, this is what it's about, this is where it takes me. Just like you said earlier, and you keep saying it, it's a journey. Your songs take you on a journey, and you don't want to sit there and say, this is exactly what it's about. I mean, you let the people decide that.
Hey, you're in the Dawg House.
If girls were boogers, I'd pick you first.
Doc's going to spin another track from Infrared. Then the earth goes black. love that music.
Just like to say to the old man who was wearing camouflage and using crutches who stole my wallet earlier, you can hide, but you can't run.
Give our listeners the info where to find your music, your merchandise, any gigs that you foresee coming up, or any places they can find you, videos, music, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we've got our website, infrared metal, all one word, .ca. All the socials are on there. There's, quotes, backstory, links to merch. The merch is all on Bandcamp now, so infraredmetal.bandcamp.com. All our albums are for sale, either physical copy or digital. Although, to be honest with you, some of the physicals are sold out, and some of the T-shirts as well. But all the stuff is there. So, I mean, we're not too hard to find. If you type in infrared metal in any browser, all one word, it'll just pop up. You can't miss it. Of course, all our videos are out there as well, and that'll pop up in using the same search term.
There you go, guys. Go find Infrared, dude. They're a freaking awesome band. I mean, their music is phenomenal. So, given that said, Doc wants to thank Armin with Infrared for joining him in the Dawg House tonight. But it's been great. I mean, I loved everything you said tonight. So thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And we always appreciate the support and all the good things you guys do.
You know what? It's our pleasure, especially with bands like you guys. So again, I want to thank you so much. Also, Doc wants to put a big thank you and shout out to MD Pod Hub, my producer Magpie Sally, and Dogbone Studio. And the Doc will be back next week. And so in the meantime, guys, be kind to one another and always keep on rocking. So for the Doc and Armin with Infrared, we're out of here. Later on.
MD Pod presented Dawg House.